Yo, King, welcome back to Life Jewels with me, AG the Life Coach, where we talk about how to awaken, reset, and transform your mindset, habits, and life for more positive ideal results. Today, we're talking about it's all starts in the head. Your entire life starts here. There's so many gurus out there, so many spiritual teachers out there that tell you, and psychology even proves to you that so many things start in your head. When you get into a fight and you get hit in the head, what happens? Your head goes this way. What happens to your body? It follows. When you have a CEO of a company and he says, hey, I want you guys to do this, guess what? It trickles down to the rest of the team and everyone follows. So, we're going to talk about this. So, first and foremost, we have to understand that our minds and our hearts have to work together. So, our minds is an electrical signal, it has a signal, it's a sender, right? So, the thought is like a father, it has a masculine principle to it, has a masculine energy to it, and it thinks, it's orderly, it's organized. The emotion, the heart, it's emotional, it's magnetic, it's a beacon, it's a receiver, right? It attracts, it's feminine, it's a motherly figure, it has feelings, right? When the mind goes into the heart, it's called belief. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he, is what Jesus once said. And that's talking about belief systems. Buddha once said, what you think you become, what you feel you attract, and what you imagine you create. The imagination is the mind and the heart working together. So there was a quote that somebody said one time, and I loved it. I was like, damn, that was great. They said the father, aka the thoughts, impregnates the mother, aka emotion, and it bursts the child's action. So thought, emotion, action. And now I like to call it team. Team. It's easy to remember. How do you change your life? Change your team. Change your team. Your thoughts, T, your emotion, E, action, A, and manifestations, M. You could also call it tier, right? And I like tier sometimes too because it's results instead of manifestation. Because Brene Brown, she said, find your why. Find your why. And she said, if you don't know what your why is, right? If your why doesn't make you cry, you need to find a new why. Wait a minute, let's rewind that. If your why doesn't make you cry, find your new why. It has to be that emotionally pulling so that you can magnetize it towards you. The deeper the emotion, the deeper the conviction. Again, thoughts with an emotionally charged magnet, it becomes an electromagnetic being. Well, you become an electromagnetic being. You are an electromagnetic being, but you become more intensified with it. Your aura, you ever heard of that? Your aura, right? The energy you exude. Think about it like this: everything's energy, and we like, oh, we're going to that thing. No, it's scientifically proven. Think about how your phone works with Bluetooth. Think about how your laptop or your computers work with Wi-Fi. Think about all that. That's energy. There's a signal being sent. And before we had that, we had radio frequencies. Radio frequencies would send a signal, and then you would have a station that would tune into it, and that station would tune to the frequency. Your mind and your heart and your body work the same way. So your mind sends the signal out, your heart attracts it. As long as those two are on the same page, you feel fulfilled internally inside your spirit. So now your action is literally electromagnetic. You don't take action unless you believe that there is something to take action for. Here's the cool part: everything has two sides to it. You have a positive thought and a negative thought, a positive emotion or a negative emotion, a positive action or a negative action. I don't necessarily believe that there's positive and negative actions. There's things that add up to the things you want in life, and there's things that don't add up to the things you want in life. So you could perceive that as positive or negative. But every emotion is created by a thought. Every action is created by an emotion. So it all starts from the thoughts. So all manifestations come from a result of your actions. Your actions come as a result from your emotions. Your emotions come as a result of your thoughts. So if you have positive thinking, you'll have positive manifestations, positive results. Jesus also said that positive thinking leads to positive results. You have to be mindful that the seed you plant into your minds is a garden that will multiply and become fruitful. And whether they're good or bad, it doesn't matter. Your mind's going to bring it out into fruition. Why is this important, though? That we understand that our subconscious, our subconscious programming is what our mind and emotions are, right? So our mind and our heart is our subconscious. It works for us 95% of the time. Like literally, All of our behaviors, 95% of them derive from our subconscious. So even though we have conscious thoughts that can impregnate our heart and give us emotions, if we don't have an attitude within our subconscious that is strong within our belief system, we won't believe it. You can consciously think as much as you want, but if you don't believe in your heart, there's no conviction. And the only way that it's going to manifest is that whatever you feel, the secret is feeling, whatever you feel. So I'm telling you, you can consciously change the emotions. You can consciously change your thoughts to have these emotions. You may not control the first thought. You may not control the first emotion. You may not even want to control the first action, but you can't control the second, the third, the fourth, and the fifth. So you can't control the second thought, the third thought, the fourth thought, the second emotion, the third emotion. When something happens, we're going to have an immediate reaction internally, but you have control with your consciousness, with your awareness. That's why it's important to become aware of your triggers, your roots, where you come from, and how your environment has shaped you to this point today. Now, what you did to survive is not what you need to do to thrive. So this is your past actions, your potential actions of the path. So you could have lived this life and got here. You could have lived that life and got here. You could have lived this life and got here. But no, the path you chose to follow was the thought pattern and the emotional pattern that led here with the actions. So you see, these thoughts, emotions, actions led to you to this point, this present moment right here, right now, where you're watching this video, listening to me. You're right here. And at this moment, you have all this infinite potential, untapped potential. You can do any of these things. I'm going to teach you how you can have the results, the adults, not the child. When I say child, the actions. So the adult is the child grown up, the actions manifested, and the manifestation in the physical matter, in materialized worlds. So you're in the present moment. This is the past. These are potential paths you could have had in the past. And this is the potential future, potential actions, potential paths. If you follow negative thinking, you're going to have negative emotions. You're going to have negative actions. And it's going to make you not have successful or ideal results. So if I think with fear, if I imagine with fear, if I lead myself with fear, guess what my intuition is going to bring to me? Fear. It's going to attract to me fear. So my thoughts will pregnate my heart, the mother, with the emotions of fear, and I'm going to take actions in fear, not in faith. So I'm going to do things that are not in alignment probably with what I want and desire, because I'm going to be afraid that they're not even going to happen, or that I'm not going to be good enough, or that it's not possible. And therefore, my behavior is going to align with that. And so will my vibration, and so will my manifestations. So we have to identify what we want. Right? I call this the 5 Eyes. This is a program I created for coaching people. And if you want more of this, I'll get into that with you another time. You can just DM me or email me at HV Life Coach. Again, you can DM me on Instagram or TikTok and say HV Life Coach. Talk about the 5 Eyes. 5 Eyes. You can say eyes or I, like the letter I. Or you can hit me up on email, hvthelifecoach@gmail.com. HV, Manuel Vega, the life coach @gmail.com. So you have to identify where you're at right now. You have to identify where your triggers were. You have to identify your subconscious programming. You have to identify your natural state. And then if you want to have a positive life, let me explain. You don't have a positive life or a successful life unintentionally. It doesn't happen by accident. The only way you can have a successful life or have proper health is by doing things intentionally, right? You're not going to have the best shape of your life by just sitting on the couch all day doing nothing, but you're also not going to have it just by going about life doing your regular stuff. You have to go and be intentional, hit the gym, go to a job that makes you work out, go to environments that push you and challenge you, and that makes you literally physically apt, not inept, but apt. To do what's necessary. So identify where you're at. Then the next part is to imagine and intentionalize. Imagine and intentionalize. You have to imagine and decide, right? You have all the potential of what you could be. Albert Einstein said, in a moment of crises, imagination is greater than knowing. And the reason behind that is you can know how to do something, but if you don't know how to get out of the situation you're in, the same thinking that got you into that situation is not going to help get you out of it. So you have to change your frequency. You have to change your mind. So you have to change your internal vibration. And it's going to shift you into a different frequency. The only way that happens is to imagine, right? Where all things are possible. In this physical material world, nothing is truly possible fully, right? There's limitations. We believe there's limitations, so there are limitations. In the imagination, there are no limitations. Everything is possible. Now, when you imagine and you believe that it's possible, you can attract it through intuition. It's going to guide you. It's going to maneuver you. So you have to imagine. And then all the things you could imagine, remember, you have to dream big. See all the things that could be. Go after all the things you could be. Don't worry about if it's possible, if it's true or not. Just think about it and imagine it. Then you have to decide, okay, this is the path I want to go on. So again, you're here. You can imagine anything you want to be. You want to go this way, that way, this way, it doesn't matter. It's up to you. Just decide. Once you pick a path, though, you have to stick with it. See, a lot of people give up because they're like, oh, I've been on this path for so long. I've been on this path for so long. But it's like, yo, the longer you stay on the path, the greater your chances of success will be. The longer you stay in the path, it's not about if you'll become successful. It's about when you'll become successful. Don't worry about when. Just focus on doing what's necessary by being in your right, by being in your right vibration, being in the right mindset, being in the right emotional state, being in the right actions, which is just continuing the path. You have to feel and believe. I like to say no. Like some people say that they don't know, and that's fine. But you have to know within yourself. You have to know within your spirit, within whatever you believe. I'm not sure what your spiritual beliefs are, but believe that whatever deity you believe in and whatever you are as a person, that you have the capacity to make it happen. That this person, this deity, has the capacity to make it happen for you. They could do all these things in the world. Why not make it happen for you like this? You have to believe, know that it's possible for you. Have conviction. Have no doubt. Make it indubitable for you. That's called faith. I may not know how, but I know it's gonna. I may not know how it's gonna happen, but I know it will. You can't tell me it's not gonna happen. I may not know how it's gonna happen, but I know it will happen. That's knowing, that's conviction, that's believing. And you have to feel that. It's a different energy. It's a different vibration. It's not the same as like doubt. I don't know. I'm not sure. It's not the same as fear. I just don't. I'm scared. I don't want to fail. I'm right. You're imagining the worst. You're imagining with fear. You're imagining with worry. You're imagining with angst. You're imagining with anxiety. You're imagining with regret. That's not what positive is. Positive is joy, love, abundance, gratitude, belief, knowing. Then it's gonna, and this, again, the first part is to imagine, identify, imagine, intentionalize. Then the next thing to do is intensify, right? So that's what we talked about, intensify. So you have to feel and believe. That's going to intensify. And again, the best way to do that is to follow what Brene Brown said. I already told you that. It's if your why doesn't make you cry, find a new why. Something has to literally emotionally move you, which is the next part, implementation. The only way you're going to get the gas to move the car, the fuel to move the car, is to charge it with the emotions. You have to fill it up with the emotions. So that's why you have to feel it so deeply that it pushes you, it moves you, it pulls you, it tugs at you. You can't sit still at it anymore. You have to do something about it. That's when you start creating. And that's why when your mind and heart work together and you imagine and you believe in your imagination, you start moving, you start creating. And that is implementation. The last but not least is to persist and receive. If you continue to insist and insist and insist and insist, at some point, it's like water hitting a rock. It may not do anything with the first drop. It may not do anything with the second or third drop. But if you give this water to drop on this rock for 50 years, you're going to see erosion occur within this rock. So it's not about how strong, how forceful, how impactful you are. It's about how consistent can you be. At some point, if your consistency is greater than the consistency of the resistance will fail. It's going to erode away. It's going to tear away. And you're going to receive what you want, the ideal life. But it's up to you. Are you going to persist and persist until the universe gives you what you ask for? Or are you going to let the circumstances of the physical material world tell you what's possible for you? See, it's all in your head. It's all in your head. You've been programmed to believe, you've been conditioned to believe that this physical world tells you what to think and believe. That's not true. Your mind creates your physical world. Why do you think they call it mind over matter? Think about it. All this is just an illusion. The physical world, the material world is an illusion. It's all atoms, it's all energy. On a cosmic level, we can only see the about 0.5% or even less than that of the entire light spectrum. So within all the world, all the light, which is this matter moving faster, all the light that is in this universe, we cannot see it all. We can't even see 99% of it. We can't. We can't even see 1% of it. We see a fraction of 1%. So if we can only see a fraction of 1% of what this universe actually is, what it actually is, we have to be mindful that our energy can consciously impress our subconscious, and our subconscious will express it in this world. Your personality, your thoughts, emotions, and actions will compound into your personal reality. So if you want to change your personal reality, change your personality. You want to change what you're going through and facing in life, focus on what you're giving. Focus on the signal, the sender, and then focus on creating the feeling. Once you get the feeling of gratitude, of joy, of abundance, of whatever it is you're imagining and envisioning that you want in your life, drop the thoughts. No longer focus on the thoughts and just hold the feeling and just feel that. Because again, the secret is the feeling. It's not the thoughts, not the actions, none of that. Quantum entanglement shows us that two particles on separate sides of the world, of the universe, if something happens to this particle, it rotates left a little bit. Guess what happens to the one on the other side of the universe? It's in quantum entanglement with it, meaning they're tied together. So whatever happens to this one happens to this one. So if this one turns left a little bit, this one also turns left a little bit. So they say that your manifestations, they're all different stages of energy. It's all energy. So if you want to change your physical world, all you have to do is change your internal energy. And your external world will match your internal reality. Your external world will shift when your internal world shifts. Everything changes when you change. Nothing changes unless you change. Thank you for tuning in today. Share this message with somebody that actually rocks with it. If you rock with it, tell me down below in the comments what you actually believe the most. If you have any questions on this, if you want any coaching from the 5 Eyes, thank you. Please, again, comment down below or email me at HV the Life Coach. As always, stay blessed and stay beautiful. I love you guys. Peace.